Ronaldo.
Rest in peace, Ronaldo.
Pray for Ronaldo.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, we're back now. I accidentally started ahead without the video. Okay, so we just were talking about how we're going to reduce fractions, right? For everybody playing along at home, I know this is weird that we're talking about fractions, but just go with me here. So we said, how do we reduce 8/24? We said 1/3. How would we reduce something like, I don't know, 4/16? 1/4. Again, how do you know that? You just do, right? But what's the mathematics behind that? I'm dividing both numerator and denominator by their biggest factor that they share, right? Like if you list out the factors of 4 and the factors of 16, 4 is the biggest one that they share, so we can divide them both by 4, right? What about something like 16 24ths? What would we get? 2/3. Why do you know that?
Greatest common factor is 8.
Greatest common factor is 8, right? We know we can divide both top and bottom by 8 to get 2 and 3. Okay? Some of you may have thought, oh, we can divide them both by 2. Well, then we would get 8/12, so we can divide them both by 2 again. And then we get 4/6, and then divide them both by 2 again and get 2/3. Yeah, that works too. And because 2 to the third is 8, right? Now, recall that to write a fraction in simplest form, you divide out the common factors in both the numerator and denominator, right? Now, is there a simpler way that we could do this? Is there a simpler way? What happens when our numbers get really complicated? What happens when we can't really identify right away what our greatest common factor is? Well, in my opinion, I think it would be best to, and I don't even like the way that they're showing it here, I think it would be best to get it down to its prime factorization. Its prime factorization. Because that will tell you what the greatest common factor really is. You know, that's one of the ways to figure out what a greatest common factor is. Write out the prime factorization and then take all the factors that they share. You know, like if I'm looking at 9 and 24, the prime factorization of 9 is 3 times 3. The prime factorization of 24 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, right? Because it's 8 times 3, or 24. So what we can do here, we know that like the GCF, I know we're not really doing that right now, but the GCF here is 3 because they share the biggest factor of 3. If they shared multiple, you'd bring them all down and then you multiply out. Now, how does this help us in reducing fractions? Because if 9 is truly 3 times 3 and 24 is truly 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, what can we do in both numerator and denominator? We can cancel common factors. We can cancel out that 3 and 3, leaving just a 3 on top and then our 3 2's in the denominator, so 3 8's. Yeah? That's the way I'm going to insist that you reduce these fractions. I get you probably can do these in your head really quickly. Great. Show the prime factorization. Okay? Try those 4. I'll give you a minute. Write out the prime factorizations and cancel out common factors. go down to prime.
That's it, really?
Yep, you should go down to prime. It'll help us in the long run when we transfer into polynomial. Okay, so again, what's happening with 24? Well, 24 prime factorization it would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. The prime factorization of 36 would be, what would that be? 2, get it down to 18, 2, get it down to 9, then 3 and 3. Right? Cancel out our prime factors. So we're left with 2/3. That make sense? Take a look at 62 over 14. Okay, that would be 2 times 31. 31 prime? Oh, yeah. And then 2 times 14. Oh, whoops. 2 times 7. And then we would get 31 over 7. Make sense? Okay. And then we got 42/12. Okay, so that would be 2 times 21, and then 3 times 7, and that's all prime. And then 12 is 2 times 6, 2 times 3. Cancel out common factors. So we get 7/2. And then our last one here for 16/44. So 2 times 8. Well, there, right? 2 to the 4th is 16. And then 44, that's 2 times 22, 2 times 11. 4 times 11 is 44. Okay, and then we cancel out here and here, leaving us with a 4/11. Put it back together to make a 4/11. Questions there? It's extremely important that we know that we will have to factor, bring it down to its bare minimum, bare factors, prime factors, and then reduce. Okay, that's going to be extremely important here coming up very soon. Okay, so that's a little bit on reducing fractions. That's all the notes that we will actually do today. And now what we're going to do is a couple activities here. Now, on Canvas, you will find 3 videos, very short videos. Okay. Let me go to our next slide here. Yeah, we've got Khan Academy video over adding and subtracting. Actually, that's just subtracting, but adding is very similar, right? And then 2 videos with multiplying and dividing fractions. So if you wouldn't mind getting out your computers and watching those while we get everything started. I'm going to turn off the video now. Everybody playing along at home. You know, I'm just going to pause the video because I can answer questions. I can restart it in a second. Okay, and we're back. So here's what we're going to do today. Okay, you've got a couple things to do today. I want to get back to this page. Okay, so you're going to be watching the adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing videos. Right? There's one video for subtracting, and then one each for multiplication division. Should be pretty quick. Yes? No, just watch. Make sure you know what you're doing. Yeah. Pay close attention. He gives a really good technique for cross simplifying when doing multiplication. So watch out for that, please. Now, second, fraction tic-tac-toe. Okay, we're getting fun, folks. Okay, I am going to, and actually forgot to print them, so I'm going to print them in a second. But you're going to have these fraction tic-tac-toe boards. So after you're done watching the video, you're going to pair up with one other person, and you're going to say, yeah, this is the answer. No, that's actually, those are the problems. It's kind of cool. All right, so here are the answer keys, okay? You're going to take a sheet. It'll say sheet 1 or sheet 2 up at the top. You're going to take a sheet, you're going to pair up with someone else, and you're going to play tic-tac-toe. So you're going to decide who goes first. Doesn't really matter. Flip a coin. I don't care. And you're going to say, so say I'm playing Cooper, right? And I say, okay, I'm going to go first because I'm the teacher. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to try to go for that square, this top right square. Okay? We're both going to work out the problem. Okay? If I get it right, you come up and I'm not going to show you what the answer is, but you lift the flap up to see. I'm going to keep the keys up here. So underneath the flap, underneath there is the actual answer to the problem. So you're going to come up, you're going to say, okay, that's the answer. If I got it right, I chose the square, I put an X in it or a circle, whatever we decide. If I get it wrong, he can steal it with the correct answer and put his mark on it. And then you play tic-tac-toe. Sheet 1. Sheet 2 is somewhere. But there are 2 sheets of them. So that's fraction tic-tac-toe. Play at least one game. If time's running out, you can kind of skip ahead and go work on the task cards as well. These are just extra problems. There's 10 of these on this little ring. Yeah, you could do them really in any order, but they're numbered 1 to 10. Here's the answer sheet for them. Just put your answers on here because it's really easy for me to check if you just put your answers on here. And then to get the homework for tonight, you just show me that you got this done, and then there you go, and you can work on your homework the rest of the period. That sound good? Okay. On your mark, set, go. Go ahead and start watching those videos. So long, everybody watching at home.